Why you should define your fears instead of your goals. In his TED Talk, Why You Should Define Your Fears Instead of Your Goals, Tim Ferriss shares a powerful strategy for overcoming fear and making better decisions in life. Instead of focusing solely on setting goals, the power of fear setting. Ferriss introduces the concept of fear setting, which involves examining your fears in detail before you make a decision or take a risk. Instead of focusing only on the potential rewards of pursuing a goal, you ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? This exercise helps to mitigate the fear of the unknown and empowers you to make clearer, more informed decisions. The cost of inaction. One of the most profound aspects of fear setting is the realization that inaction often carries a greater cost than taking risks. Ferriss explains that inaction leads to missed opportunities and regret, while even a failed attempt can offer valuable lessons. By focusing on the consequences of inaction, you can motivate yourself to take risks that will lead to personal growth and fulfillment. Explore the worst-case scenario. Ferriss encourages us to visualize the worst-case scenario. He argues that once you clearly define your fears, they often appear less threatening. By confronting the worst possible outcomes, you realize that most of them are temporary and fixable. For example, if you're afraid of quitting your job to pursue a new venture, the worst-case scenario might be that you have to go back to your old job or find a new one. This realization makes the decision to act much less daunting. Preventing regret. Ferriss also discusses how fear setting can help us avoid regret. Often our greatest regrets are not the things we did, but the things we didn't do. By taking the time to think through your fears, you can decide whether the potential regret of not taking action is greater than the fear of failure. Ferriss shares that many of the people he interviews say they wish they had taken more risks when they were younger, minimizing the impact of failure. Ferriss emphasizes that by planning for failure, we can minimize its impact. Instead of avoiding, we should ask, what can I do to minimize the impact of failure if it happens? When you accept that failure is a possibility, you can prepare for it, making it easier to bounce back if things don't go as planned. Turning fear into motivation. Ferriss discusses how fear can actually be turned into a motivator. When you define your fears, break them down into smaller, actionable steps and understand the consequences of inaction, you can use fear as fuel. Fear can be a signal that you're moving towards something important.